Hello, this is Toby Wan again, and we are playing War of the Ring. This is the expansion to the original War of the Ring. This one has a standalone that you can play, and it also has the pieces for the expansion for the original Lord of the Rings game. Today we're going to be doing or playing the expansion, or actually the standalone. This is the Battle of Helms Deep. There's two different scenarios in this game. The Battle of Helms Deep and the Battle of Minas Tirith, which is on the other side of this board. Right now I have set it up for the Battle of Helms Deep. As you can see, there's a Hornburg and there's a Rohan troops already set up in there. And you have the Hillmen of Dunlin over here. And you're going up to Orthanc. You have the orcs, and there's Saruman at Orthanc. Okay. And you have different settlements. This is actually, that's Edoras right there. So that's a fort. And then that little symbol right there at the Harrowdale, that's a settlement. And this has takes into consideration terrain as well. So that little symbol next to Harrowdale, those are hills. So the defending player will have an advantage, a +1 advantage on their die rolls if they are in that area there. There's some hills. There's also over here, there's some swampland. There's forests. We also have, like these are the fjords. So you can't cross this river except for these locations where these arrows are. So they've got a nice defense position right there for Rohan, for the orcs coming from the east. So the orcs are coming from Mordor or wherever from the east. Up here we have Fanghorn. So the Ents can come into play as well. These dark black lines are the mountains that you cannot cross. And then down here we have the bit more of a defensive position right there where the dike is. And there's the wall of the Hornburg as well. That's going to add to it. Now what makes this game very interesting is there is a fate track down here. So this fate track starts from 0 to 18. If the Free People's armies get to that 18, then they're going to win the game. So the Shadow player wants to win the game, whatever the scenario is, before the Free Peoples can get to 18. So the Shadow people want to get into the Hornburg, if possible, into Helm's Deep. But they don't have to just do that. They can try to get X amount of points in order to win as well. So if you look here, there's 6 points for the Hornburg. There are 3 points over here at Edoras. So you have to get X amount of points to win the game as well. So at the beginning of every round, well, I think it's the third turn actually, the Free People's player is going to draw tokens out of the black bag, and these tokens, depending on where the position of Saruman is on this track up here, the 1, 2, or 3. So if he's on a number 1 position, they're only going to draw 1 tile out, and they have to stick to it. If they're on 2 or 3, they can draw that many tiles, and then put the other ones back. If they draw like the second one and they choose to keep the first one and put the second one back, thinking that they can't do any better than that, then that's what would happen. So depending on where he is on that track allows the Free People player to draw tiles out of this bag. So a tile, for example, would be like this one right here. If they drew this one, that's a good one right there, because the fate track would move three places on the track. So we would move this 3 spaces, and right there, that means Treebeard of the Ents would become available. And you could play a character die and bring him into the game. And as you see over here on 5, that would bring in not Theoden, Omer. That would bring in Aragorn, and then that would bring in Gandalf the White. And then Gandalf the White can bring in Theoden later on. Now, this game plays almost exactly like War of the Rings with a few differences. You like the terrain I was talking about earlier. You can modify your defenses with whatever terrain that you have, if it's hills or swampland or what have you. There's also fortifications and things like that allow you that you have to roll sixes. Usually you roll 5 or 6 on attacks. You have to roll 6 to be able to hit on the very first turn on several of the fortifications. Now, this game again has the same kind of cards as the original War of the Ring, but it has these are hard to see. There is a horse right there. That's the Rohan game, and then if you turn the card upside down, there is the White Tree of Gondor right there. So you play that side of the card for the Minas Tirith game. And it would be the same thing for the Shadow player. So they have their own deck. They have their own deck. I think there's only 16 cards in each deck. But there's also a generic deck that the players get to choose from. Just a one deck for both of them, for both players. And these cards have 2 sides as well. So, they can play this one as an event, or they can play for this to help in their battle. Battle is almost exactly the same as before, and we're using the exact same dice as we did for the War of the Ring game. Now, another thing that's different in this is that we have recruitment tokens for the Rohan player, and we have them for the orcs. So these tokens will be put on a board whenever you muster, whenever you try to bring out new soldiers. You're going to turn over these tokens instead, and you have a chance to totally wipe out these recruitment tokens. If you can move your armies into an area and where there's only recruitment tokens, you can completely destroy these tokens. Now, another thing that's interesting in this game is that we have Grima cards right here. So these Grima cards can be played, and he can keep his control over Theoden King by playing these cards. There are also tactic tokens right here. So you can play one of these tactic tokens because each character has a special ability. Like the wargs will have, let's see, what is their special ability? Okay, so the wargs, they can do a rear guard attack. At the end of the round, your opponent is forced to apply casualties until no more than 1 damage counter is left. So if you do that, you would play this warg token, and then you would substitute X amount of dice, these dice, so they would represent that warg rider, and you would know which dice would be the warg rider. So you pick one of these tokens. Every battle, that token would go away, and then when you're ready to bring all those tokens back, you would play your regroup token. Now this one right here allows you to play a card on battle. And when you're battling, you're rolling your leadership, whatever your leadership is, you get re-rolls, just like the other ones. Now these tokens right here for the Shadow player are the tokens for their leaders, because they don't have any leaders represented on their board. But Saruman can help you get these tokens by doing certain things on this track up here, depending on where we put Saruman. So if Saruman is on the number 1 spot, number 2, sorry about that, number 1 spot, number 2 spot, number 3 spot, that determines what he can do. So, like the number 1 spot, he can do the Fires of Orthanc. Use 1 character die result to place and immediately flip 1 recruitment token in certain areas. You got the Voice of Saruman, and you have Host of Isengard. So you have those different things that Saruman can do up there to help win the day for the Shadow player. And then you've got Gandalf. It tells you when he comes into play. There's Aragorn when he comes into play. It's 8th round for Gandalf, 6th round for Aragorn. And that's for the Minas Tirith game, and Faramir. Then you have Theoden. He can come in on the ninth turn, but I believe he has to be brought in by Gandalf. And then Omer can come in. Omer enters the game with Theoden. With that on that. Well, that's during the I'm sorry, that's during the Minas Tirith game. But these are the cards for Rohan right here. So we have Treebeard, we have the Ince of Fanghorn, Omer, Theoden, and so on and so forth. So here's the Ince. I've painted everything, of course. They look pretty good. And you have Legolas, Gimli, and, well, Boromir doesn't come in. This one because, well, he's dead. So, this is just a little quick, brief showing for you of Battles of the Third Age, War of the Ring. It's been a long time since I've played this. I really like this game. It's really cool. I love War of the Ring anyway, and this one is just a little bit different. It's different enough. Gives you the feel of battle, feel of these specific battles that were in the book. And I really like this standalone game. I think I prefer the Battle of Helms Deep over the Minas Tirith one a little bit. That's why I'm playing with this one first. But I'm going to play the Minas Tirith one again, just because it's been such a long time, and I forgot